Hi, it's Deb from Deb's Days Designs, and I'm back with another seasonal gnome sewing project. Today we're making this 4th of July table runner. Use it for your 4th of July barbecues, other patriotic holidays, or use it as part of your Americana home decor. We'll use raw edge appliqué and fold over the backing to make a binding to make it an easy and quick project you can finish in just a few hours' time. Before I get started, I publish new content frequently, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel or stop by the blog at debsdays.com. That's where you'll find a digital version of this project. You can download it at home and print out the entire pattern. It has the materials list and cutting measurements, step-by-step written instructions, color photos, and the printable template. Or, to save paper, just read through the directions on your device and then print out just the template page. All right, let's get this project started. Along with your regular sewing supplies for this project, you'll need fabric scraps for the appliqué pieces, fabric for the front, the borders, and the backing, cotton batting, a paper-backed fusible web like Heat and Bond Light, and of course the printable templates. You may also find basting spray, stabilizer, a free motion foot, or a walking foot would be helpful for this project as well. First, trace the individual parts of 2 gnomes and 6 stars onto the paper side of the fusible web. Cut out each piece about 1/4 inch outside the tracing lines. Following the manufacturer's directions, fuse the pieces to the wrong side of the appropriate colors of fabric and let them cool. Then cut out the pieces along the traced lines. With the right sides facing, place the inside border strips along both long edges of the main fabric. Align the raw edges on the long sides and pin them in place, and stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Press them open and trim away the excess ends of the strips. Place the inner border strip along the short edge of the main fabric and stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Stitch a strip to the other short end of the main fabric and press them open and trim away the excess ends of the strips. Place the outside border strips along both long edges of the inner borders and stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Press them open and trim away the excess ends of the strips. Place the outside border strips along each short edge of the inside borders and stitch using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Press them open and trim away the excess ends of the strips. Remove the paper backing from the fusible web and center and arrange the appliqué pieces on each end of the fabric, overlapping them as needed. When all pieces have been assembled, fuse them into place. Finish the design by stitching around the raw edges of each of the fabric pieces with blanket, zigzag, satin, or straight stitches. I like to try out different stitch lengths and widths on fabric scraps before working on the appliqué. Place the backing fabric with the wrong side of the fabric facing up. Center the batting in the middle. Center the front piece on top and baste it in place to limit shifting during quilting, and quilt it as desired. I used a combination of meandering and wavy stitching for mine. Since we're using the backing as a binding, do not quilt past the edge of the front fabric. Fold the backing out of the way and very carefully trim the outside border so it measures 2 inches away from the outside edge of the inner border. Unfold the backing and trim the backing fabric so it measures 1.5 inches away from the edge of the front piece. To create the binding and mitered corners, fold the corner of the backing so it meets the corner of the front piece and press it. Open up the fold and cut on the crease line. Fold the cut corner over the corner of the front piece and press it. Fold each side so the raw edges of the backing meet near the raw edges of the front and press it. Fold the backing fabric over one more time so it becomes a binding on the front and press it. Follow the same technique all around the table runner using fabric clips or pins to hold it in place. Adjust the mitered corners if necessary. Then top stitch around the outside near the open edge of the binding. And just like that, you have a red, white, and blue quilted table runner for your summertime picnics and parties. See you next time with another project.